We played Mphe Destroyers sharply 5-0. 5
How many?
that day 5-0.
How many assists for you or goals?
No, and I was a defender. One of the things that made me leave was you can't preach same things every year, and people don't change. And what I hated most was people acting ultra-virus. The education that the learner loses whilst umukubili, that learner is not disadvantaged. That's how the Constitution impacts education. But the teachers must know the Employment of Educators Act, because that's their contract with the department. It's their contract. If you contravene that contract, you're going to lose your job. Spetlele Sarona, I've submitted. They never came back to me. But I'm not bothered. I'm still earning my salary. I was not doing it for whatever stipend they would give. So I think it is very stupid for somebody to say, COVID was throughout the country. It was throughout the country, but its impact was not the same. It was not the same. Rona here, our learners were attending once a week.
Ka je go ratla menera re tse sepe se hectic ya ke tshwere laptop ana doesn't mean or ke interview ele formal ya
no artlotla
wa bona menera so fana re rona pila nna le KB re di members tsa RSA Royalty Life Strongman Association.
Okay,
that is why I give me just strongman. Strong.
Yeah, got to listen to it. We are embarking on a journey. Yeah. What is a podcast? As a way of communication nowadays, because things are changing. Most people, they are no longer interested most in TV and so on, and as a way of
strongman
as a wave of change.
Yeah, sure.
So as a wave of change, the podcast gets on a long this on the trend that illustrates more information.
Anyway, session ke le khale etsa getse like ke leng ke buile le menero remember la bofalo ba menero wa sama ka bo nele mo November ne.
Yeah, it's a very long time ago.
It's been a long time. Right, still.
My finally it's happening menero. Now that you are here menero, welcome menero. I think we go tshwara ga letso. O siame menero.
I know ke siame. I can't complain.
Is up da Maypee. Mphe because how we made a nna re filo ka dilo a di sharp Mphe di ba tsonne fatshe o tla ya tenda
o tla eto di check up elore a di ti
no or sutisa audio box o nne fatshe mo selong seo.
Alright, yeah,
mara sutisa phone na fatshe ro khona ra no ntse fatshe ibe fatshe sia. Yo way.
Otherwise,
so all about faith to your boy oratile ora lankitsi mfanele ya lona ya di hit ke jimile no ke fiti menere ke go gate ke go etsang welcome ya ke go welcome menere mo Royalty Life Show podcast Strongman.
Yeah.
It's an intro and then we'll welcome Lemine.
Yeah. Hola guys. Hola ke Strongman. Yeah, Kalinkiti Kabelo Pizzo Kilina. Today our special guest of honor Tenure. You may leave school, but school will never leave you.
Will never leave you.
Our former principal, Mr. Motlhampe, let me give you this opportunity to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay, no? Sorry. Yeah, I really get this opportunity to thank you guys for the invitation and then do the viewers wherever they are.
I know, Minere, you are going to bring in numbers here. Your name alone.
Yeah, no. The development, it's always pleasing to see things that are happening in other places also happening at home. It's very pleasing. I really appreciate your initiative of bringing this new platform to Reagile. It shows Reagile is also part of South Africa. What is happening in South Africa also happens here. No, I'm very grateful for your initiative.
Strongman, ara welcome Minere. Bafetu, let's welcome Mr. Motlhampe. Tango. Minere, can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you first got into education?
It's a very long story. Yeah, a very, very long story. But now I was born and bred here more Reagile old location which Makwete. Yeah, I grew up ko 19, started school in 1973. By then there were no schools. By substandard age, said it's a 10th Street. Many of you know it as Karakia ZCC. 10th Street, but that was our church, and that's Reformed Church. And then when the current one was built, we sold that to ZCC.
Okay.
Yeah, when our current church was built, somewhere in the 70s, then we sold this to ZCC. They first started as tenants, but as time went on, they bought the church. So I did my substandard A there, go 10th Street, go Kerekenya. By then it was NG, neither the from the Kerk Dutch Reformed Church, and then substandard B, go. The church is no longer there. They rebuilt the church. Go 11 AME.
No.
11 AME.
Go Army.
Yeah, so the one in which we attended, I get it by 2 wheel or relay hour, but they built a new one and substandard one. Attend go Wesele, it's still standing. Go 18.
Go 18.
Yeah, in fact, I did standard 1 and 2. Go 18. Go Wesele, 76. But I attended go Wesele up to June. By July, I had go to Bula for term 3, then every Kalakhatsani was completed. Then we all left the churches and Railo started proper school.
I think it's interesting because for the first time, we get to have this knowledge. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that information we never had. And despite sometimes we get information, this one they always miss it.
But yes, Minere.
No, I've never attended school outside any building. No. I started substandard A, go 10th Street, substandard B, go 11, standard 1 and 2, go 18. And go 18, as I said, when I was doing standard 2. At the beginning of the third term, we went to Kalakhatsani, it was completed. So I've never attended schools
Hey, so
That's
how did you get into education? I'm interested in that.
Was the dream always about who can now in the education or lawyer or doctor maybe?
Yeah, maybe that role somehow found you.
No, I wanna. I became a teacher by default. It was never my intention to become a teacher.
See, that's
because I hated teachers. And the reason why I hated teachers was because never sharp never salad. For every little thing. O late was sharpiwa, awaita homework was sharpiwa, apara uniform was sharpiwa, rasa was sharpiwa. Never sharpiwa every little mistake on the road. So I saw them as cruel people. Because always Bana sharp. So to cut a long story short, now from scratch I wanted to be a lawyer. And I took subjects that would enable me to become a lawyer, history and English. And then I became aware early in life for my mother won't be able to take me through tertiary education. So I applied for a bursary for the Department of Race Relations. And then I applied to University of the Transkei by then. I was accepted. But the house no accept you does not mean you have been admitted.
Yes.
They accepted the application and they will wait for other things. So progress ya bursary ko the Department of Race Relations. It's amazing ki passed all the phases, all the stages. Background check, I qualified ka everything. And they waited for the results. I've got an exemption, then they would take me to school. So I did get an exemption. And the only thing that made it impossible for me to get through, I did matric yaka ko Mabopane with Dr. Maseko, where I stayed with my late aunt. I'm sure you'd know Mama Khebo Pesi was also. Yes, because by then, Skolomo Gosternes fell like Form 3, which is your current grade 10.
Oh, it was Form 3.
Yes.
And it was not Form 4, Form 5.
No, Moko Steren DC. Kore Mphe by then was a junior secondary school, which offered only Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. And then for you to do Form 4 and 5, you had to go outside. So, by Lungori, their parents were okay financially, they would go to boarding schools. Those whose parents were not okay financially will go and stay with relatives in areas where there are high schools. So that's how I went to Mabopane. I wanted to go and study at Central State Secondary School. Then the same thing happened. I was accepted, but admission failed because there was no money.
Yeah.
And it was a boarding school. And I had guys back then in Lewana School who were admitted to Central. Guys like Bo Jones Makubela, guys like Bo Siti Musiane, guys like the late Pogiso Patrick Letsholo, Kwakwa Barapita. You would know him as Maswana. The guys late Bo Matrotling, Metswamiri Mo 16 Mona, Uncle Abu Penny, Bo the late British Pule. They got admitted to Central State Secondary School. I could not be admitted there because there was no money. Remember, outside Nako, you've got to pay boarding fees, school fees, book fees, and stuff like that. So my aunt came to my mother's rescue and said, no, then I went to Mabopane. I got registered at Dr. Masako High School, where I did Form 4, 1982, 1983, completed my grade. So I could not get the bursary go race relations because dikolo di kwetsa Koster. The results di tswile ba di ko Mabopane. And they sent me a reminder ka telegram gore we are still waiting for your results. So I had to go to Mabopane to, sorry.
Enlighten me. What is Telegram? Nagele 2000.
Telegram was a missing communication that was used in those days. No, it was
or a pager.
No, it was not a fax. It was in operation before a fax.
Oh.
And you were not writing full sentences there because they were charging per word.
Oh, so it was like
I could not write a telegram to you and say, your mother is sick, please come home. I would say, mother sick, home.
Stroke my...
It was interesting.
It traveled faster.
Results, Mabopane.
No, if you write long sentences, then you would pay more because, as I indicated, they were charging per word. Your message had to be telegraphic.
It had to be short and simple.
Yeah, and not in sentences. If I want to tell you that your mother is sick, please come home. I won't start by saying, yeah, your mother is sick. You are requested to come. So just say, mother sick home. Then you will understand because it was the communication that was used. It traveled faster than your normal letter.
Oh,
yeah. And remember, by then, black people did not have telephones in their houses. There were no telephones in their in houses. So I could not go to Mabopane to fetch the results and then take them to Braamfontein at the offices of the Department of Race Relations because my mother was not successful in borrowing money for transport to go there. And the results were wanted by the 15th of January.
As soon as possible. Being January. Transportation to Mabopane. From there,
everything happens by default.
Yeah, so my mother did not get the money and I cried overnight. I called the department and remember calling, the Department of Race Relations. I had to go to town to make that call. We were using those phones where you have to give the number to the operator and the operator will phone on your behalf. When you dial, the operator will say, no more please. Then you'll have to give him or her the number that you are dialing and she will connect you. So I phoned Race Relations. Obviously, the phone was received by the recipient and I gave her my plight, asking for an extension. And she said, as a secretary, she was not
she didn't
empowered
have the powers,
to take such a decision. And unfortunately for me, the people who were supposed to take that decision were in a meeting. So that's how I failed. So I spent 1984, at the beginning of the year, I did not have any plans. I was staying with my grandmother and my niece. Every day you wake up, go to the shop, buy bread, clean, then lie down. And in the same month, my aunt, she taught for a very long time at Mphe Bana and at Mitoki. She's also a teacher. She was teaching at Mphe Bana Junior Secondary School, Siskafa, where there is the center. Yeah, Mphe Bana, this side did not have the school. It was housed in the premises of the then Koster Higher Primary School, which is the current Mitsoki. Koster Higher Primary School, for reasons that I don't know, shared the premises with a Lutheran church. Your church.
Yeah.
We had an old church here before this one was built.
Yes.
Yeah. Meaning the school and the church were resided in the same premises. And Lutheran church, the church itself was partitioned into 2 classes. The front part used by the clergy, the priest, was another class, and then the part where the congregation was sitting was also another class. So Mphe used those classes for standard 6. So they had 6 A and B. And the primary school, Koster Higher Primary School, gave Mphe 2 classes, which were standard 7 A and B. And then the community built 2 classes. Each and every household contributed 10 rands, where 2 classes and a small staff room was built. So Mphe started with 6 classes. Standard 6 A and B in the Lutheran church, standard 7 A and B in those 2 classes borrowed from Koster Higher Primary, and the two new classes, 8 A and B. And a small room which was a staff room, an office, a principal's office and everything. That's how Mphe operated before this one was built.
So, let's talk about your path to leadership now. Was there a moment that made you realize, okay, now I'm ready to lead the entire school now?
Yeah, but before that, you previously asked me how I got into education.
Okay.
And this is how it happened. The late Mrs. Maruta, the wife to the late Mr. Maruta, got sick.
Okay.
And they needed a substitute. And my aunt Ostoki thought of me, he has matric and is not doing anything. Then they recruited me to come and teach without any qualifications. Yeah. My highest qualification was matric.
That was 1984.
1984. That's where I taught Mr. Tetane, Afrikaans, and the others. So I stayed there as it was meant to be 3 months. But now she did not get well very soon, and they extended her sick leave with another 3 months. I had to stay there for another 3 months. So after 6 months, they extended the leave to a full year. So I had to stay there for a year. But I was not enjoying because, by April, Jones Makubel, the Jones that you know, came to do practicals Mphe. The guy who I sat with in the same classroom was now coming practicing as a teacher. And here I am teaching only with matric. I felt sad.
Okay.
I felt very sad. In fact, guys who were not even my match academically were able to go to school and I could not.
Sometimes that's the part that hits you the most, because then when everyone comes happy when the expectations someone they are higher.
Yeah, but now it hurt me that I could be far away. Then I made an application to the very same institution where Jones was attending training as a teacher, Transvaal College of Education. They accepted me and I went there to study as a teacher for 3 years, 85, 86, 87. Then 88, I joined Mphe now as a qualified teacher.
Yo. That experience, Menyere, go rutile the leadership skills,
Well, my journey in that taught me to work very hard. I realized very early that you must work very hard. I've told you that I did my Form 4, which is your grade 11, outside Coastal. I had to go and work temporarily go bakering. I was working go bakering at November, December, January, earning 75 rands per week.
It was a lot,
By then, it was a lot of money because I gave my uncle, the late Lebra, Nelimitsa Lebra, spaghetti, for Kun.
Maybe KB you are
Next door, yeah, I gave him 50 rand to keep safe for me. I gave my mother 20 rands and I took 5 rands. 5 rand, the corner ya Paiscopo, because Paiscopo by then, in Elala Mochinos and it was a hall. Front opposite ya shop ya Pari.
Blue.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There was a hole there. Bariki hole upamulukwani. Narishaba Paiscopo go. So one of the things that I learned is accept that you are not the same. I mean, I was friends with guys from families that were well off than mine. Obviously, they will wear better clothes than you, and they will become more famous, more Cajun than you. So, rona re khotse mostly ra apara diaparo tsa polo because we fit and re dlala polo. So, ga o apere diaparo tsa polo, you are safe from fashion and stuff. Or what? So, I learned that you must accept that you are not the same, and you must not be afraid to be yourself. Don't lose yourself because of the company that you keep. Yeah.
Strong man waiting more episode previous episodes. One of the previous episodes, Aguilar, sometimes you have to stay away from attention in order to safeguard yourself. Yeah.
Because sometimes it will happen. The minute you achieve something small, people will celebrate you too much. Focus. I'm supposed to be running my own race for now outside the race.
You need the strength to accept. You've got to be very strong to accept that you are not like others. Remember, as you grow up, there are a lot of challenges outside of growing up. Things like you reach a stage where you are now getting interested, more manyaning and stuff like that. And with a background that is not so good, you would accept this girl, Ngasi Mulati, because she's far above my standard. But I realized later, no, it does not work that way. It does not work that way.
How does it work, Minier? Teach us.
No. We set our own standards.
No, you should approach, you should be confident of yourself.
Okay.
What I was doing was lack of self-confidence. No, man, even if I can try, I'm going to fail. There is a principal, I don't know, but it looks like it's a former principal of Botswana High School in Munchiwa, Mr. Tsolo. Botswana was just like Mphe Bana. Same, structure-wise, number of learners, but they were always in the 90s. Always in the 90s. Then I asked myself, how does it do it? We are from the same schools that are almost the same, but he's at 90. Now I'm struggling to go to 80. But this guy is in the 90s. I respected that man because of his achievements. And one day I found myself having to compete with him. in this National Teachers Awards, NTA. I won the local ones, the Ketling, and I had to go and represent Ketling at the province, at the district, for excellence in secondary school leadership. We went to Mafikeng for the interviews. They put us in one room. We sat there, we talked, and the guy that I respected most went in first. And when he came out of the interview, he said, "Hey, things are bad. Hey guys, I've been roasted. So already."
Then you start lacking confidence.
Yeah. I thought, nah, man, if this person that I respect so much found it very difficult to deal with the interview, then I've got no chance. I have no chance. Then I said, but anyway, it's today, the day it's here, it's now. If my turn comes, I must go. Then they called another one, and I went in the third person. When the results were announced, I beat him.
Wow.
The person that I thought was going to win. So that reinforced this thing in me that you've got to trust yourself and believe in your abilities. Yeah, trust yourself and believe in your abilities. And that is what drove me throughout the leadership as a principal of Mphe Bana. I always believe that Mphe Bana will be amongst those schools that are performing better.
Yeah.
Yes.
During that time,
Yes, we were still falling under
before.
Yeah. When we were in Nakamudiri Mulema, we were performing always in the 80s. We only dropped 2021 because of COVID. And Arzenega for Bojanala with 87%.
I was a part of that.
Yeah,
2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to Bojanala with 87%. Yeah, 2019. 2020 there was COVID, we dropped to 80. 2021 we dropped to 67. And people, in fact, officials did not want to accept that COVID had impacted on our results. And it did.
Yeah.
Some were saying, no, COVID was all over the country. Fine, COVID was all over the country, but it did not affect schools the same way. For instance, whole school never felt COVID. They attended full time. Now we were badly affected by the 1 meter social distance.
The number of learners we've got.
So if you have learners about 80 more classes, you're going to have to make them 15.
Remember, I still remember grade 11A. It had either 63 or 67 learners.
Yeah.
And with social distancing, our classes gave us 20 per class. So 11A alone would take 3 classes.
Sure.
You are not at 11B, you are not at 11C, you are not at 8A, 9C. You are dealing with only one class. It takes 3 classes.
And you have to schedule them by days.
Yes. And the whole school did not have that problem. So I think it is very stupid for somebody to say, COVID was throughout the country. It was throughout the country, but its impact was not the same. It was not the same. Rona here, our learners were attending once a week. Once. So if a learner does not come, it means for the whole week that learner did not come to school. Grade 12, fine, they attended the whole year. We extended classes. We had to take some of the teachers with no experience to teach grade 12 because the classes were now spread across.
Yeah.
So those are the things I learned, and patience also. Patience, it's a virtue. You must learn to be very patient in life. and don't compete with other people. Compete with yourself. You must compete with yourself because you can't compete with me. You don't know how I arrived at that thing that you want to compete with me with. You don't.
At some point, you would say to us, hey, Bana, hey, you and I are not in the same league. Strong man.
Yes. And I was telling the truth that you can't compete with me. We are not in the same league. I mean, you are struggling to get matric. I passed my matric in 1983. How do we start competing?
Exactly. And you the minute you start to look at that, then you start to see the challenges. Just sitting here, I can see the challenges. Then I understand. Oh, hey, that's why what I want to have is my teacher. And imagine the old winter used to be very cold. Now it's so hot.
I never sharper for every little thing. I remember I read a Sabiku AME. Nehosna AME was on the outskirts where it is now. The Hosna extension for Nehosna nearly milli fields there. Nehona Machita Mangana Kolofantin. Kitana Lebon. Habali Lata Nebamona La Sansebalimutimo, those guys are
Basanza de Bafeta could dry hiking.
Babelwa di Kurabat and Amotlas in the two persons in Milida. Abat and a fella, Muturiani, Wokuose, Womacho, Logitel Majolo school.
Is it?
Yes.
Coffee strong.
Yes, those guys could tell you one school. And walking from the farm come out, Marhabat and Abakrai Lori.
Sure.
So teachers were inconsiderate. These guys are traveling and on foot. But back in Mulcation, they are from nearby houses.
Bala never a plus in street.
Whether it rains or not, those guys had to come to school.
But then, those teachers being that inconsiderate, somehow that helped build into a person.
Yes, to an extent, yes, to a great extent, of course. Because now I hated being punished. So I was never punished for late coming because I was never late. I was never punished for uniform because next year will be uniform. I was never punished for homework because I did my homeworks and my mother monitored the homeworks, even though Nasat's in a school, but she contributed. You know, my mother contributed a lot to my knowledge of English. And many people do not believe. She was working, just next to the post office here, next to PEP. It used to be President's Cafe. Maybe Lona, you know it as Nelly Shopwa Makamu before he moved to where he is now. But it was President Cave. My mother was working there. I cooked the crate, the cold drink, and to an extent that she was no longer able to do hard work. But because she was the favorite, these white people, they moved her from the shop to the house. You see the house where there is a kindergarten now. When you turn to the police station, there is a house that's a kindergarten. Yeah, she used to work there. So before she went to work at the house, when she was still at the shop, she would bring a newspaper every day. Many people would not believe, but I started reading a newspaper, Standard 3, in 1977.
Standard 3,
it should be grade 5, maybe.
Oh,
grade 5.
Yes. I got a remote at 2, you add 2. How about the Standard 6, you add 2, it's grade 8. How about the Standard 10?
Sabi, Standard 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
That's it. Take care, Divana. So, wait a minute, Onampola guy. Onampola Faleko, Maypee. Ukrora, Sagwa assembly. But, Emana, Wala great man. Ora, give a great 11. Are 11 plus 6 guy. or 17 are ke tsa go rona le 17 if you are not no motho na mo greeting yo le mo yona kora ke le ba le sepe se no so no re di bolela tsena me re yeah
no, it's good.
ke le ba le sepe mina. So how would you describe the culture Mphe Bana during your tenure or term?
In fact, before we go there, Menere Neili Prispala Mphe Bana for how long?
19 years.
Yeah.
19 years. 2005 to 2023. Or 2024, because I left the school end of January this year because I did not want to leave in December. And then they will struggle to get started. So I went back in January just to go and make sure that when I leave, everything is in order. I left the function in school. So I was principal for 19 years.
So how was the culture, here?
Now
Of the school?
When I became the principal, my aim was to lead or to continue building a disciplined school. My aim was also to improve performance. And then my aim was also to have more girl learners completing matric and becoming professionals. My major aim was to reduce the illiteracy rate because if dilone di ka tsamaya ka mokgwa o ke e ratang ka teng, I would enforce a law for every child mo Reagile must get matric, because we've got schools from grade R to grade 12, and all those schools are no-fee schools, meaning there is no money that parents must pay for the education of their child. Fine, parents will pay for matric dance, parents will pay for trips. I'm talking about education. They are not buying books. They get free textbooks. They get free stationery. And there is National Schools Feeding Scheme, NSNP. So why would people not... I get hurt when I see Bana Babanyan Basaya School. What prevents these parents from taking their children to school? And education will get you out of the gutters. If I did not go to school, what kind of person would I be? Fine, I'm not living in the biggest house in the township, but I'm living in the biggest house that I have ever lived in, because my late daughter used to say to me, Papa Marinkwa rona inyane. And then I asked her, inyane mo efe?
Good question.
Inyane mo efe? But the house I'm living in is the biggest that I have ever lived in. Because COVID-19 in a random forum nyamo, le robala ko kitchen. And now robala ko kitchen, robala wa bofelo. And remember, people were using outside toilets by then. That's where I grew up. Now, if Kipela in a room where two of my children have their own bedrooms, we have our own bedroom, kitchen served a lot of purposes. During the day, in the kitchen, in the dining room. So, the kitchen becomes a bedroom. Now, kitchen, it's a kitchen on its own. You've got a sitting room, then a dining room. Now, this is how this house is big. Then build yourself a palang. That's how it goes. Now I build the one because there was a time where, because of family clashes, my mother would live with us to go and rent 2 rooms. My mother. Obviously, the mother will take the other room as a bedroom. Rona kitchen ke ya rona. So the same style as how I slept no kitchen in Sekiloko High School.
I don't know,
Yes, I got the book. Sometimes you would go home after oje papa ka ditapole, se shabole ditapole. Bogobe bo bosweu ditapole di ditshweu. A gona le kheri ya di khalaranya so. But if le kwala exam wa tsena mo exam ka papa starch over starch then you write. Wow. So that's why you need to accept yourself.
I think it helps, and sometimes you do not see it and you do not realize. One of the things the groom my person because all of a sudden somebody else will sleep till 10 o'clock because I know bedroom so comfortable, and then because you know I did not chance I have to wake up early. Or 7 o'clock I need to be up. But to use a kitchen.
And I wanna accepting yourself does not only work our whole, even as an adult. There are adults who have never accepted themselves. And because they are not real. You know, I drove a Corolla 1996. I drove it to 2004. And people were saying, Hasikolo ya di principal. Kirne adi principal atalona direke di koloi di principal. This one takes me to meetings, takes me everywhere. I even went to Botswana. I even went to Petersburg with that car. Now, if you listen to people, you will pressurize yourself. Go buy a car. It will be expensive for you to maintain, pay, just because you want to please the public. Who said principals must not drive the Corolla? I drove it for 10 years.
BMW.
That is what competition does. People are suffering because they compete. Like I've been driving the current one. It's now 12 years. It's now 12 years. And when people saw me driving that for the first time, there were remarks like, and all those things. But I'm now on my 4th year, not paying a cent for that car.
You own it now.
Yeah, I own it. I've
got an asset now.
Yes. So I remember I talked about patience and not competing with people.
Yeah. Then comes acceptance.
Yes.
Acceptance.
Then comes acceptance, because you need to accept your living conditions. You need to accept yourself. You need to accept the way life then
yeah, when you have done that, your life becomes easy, even if people can talk. Now I see many people back home, we are not the same. We are as different as our fingerprints. We are as different as those fingerprints. Even identical twins are not the same. You know, they are called identical because physically they look alike. But they are two different people. They are two different people.
You are not the same.
Yes.
You are identical, but you are not the same.
Hey, identical does not mean the same. They look alike.
So, Minere, what do you think students appreciated most about your leadership style?
Well, many of them appreciated later. After seeing the results of my management style. They appreciate it late. We thought you were doing this, but you were helping us. You know, it was a workplace. It's a workplace. And education can make you a better person. That's why, Nikki, I did not want learners to spit at my grave one day. Or is this because of this man that Kitabile scored? No, I get those accolades now. Even Baba Kaliman, there was one guy, he's a lawyer now. Mphe feedback after many years.
Yeah.
Kili for Entegre Kopane mo preaching when he was Apanama preaching he made a turn, I don't know where. Then he got into he found me at the ATM. Then I'm $1,000. Said, Mania, thank you for what you did to us. Another girl Ungrilelena go ATM I tshwere ka fa ke tshwere ka mo. Then she gave me $200 so me take it lunch. Once you helped
And then
us.
there was me now helping you make a king send.
Yeah, those are the benefits.
So do you ever feel that moment of pride? How Bana le bana ba setseng o ba rutile and then here and there.
Many a times. Some of them give me feedback by inviting me to their weddings.
I think what happens most of the time during when you are in the process, you cannot see. Yes. One of the other things, the negative ones, you see them, but the positive ones, you don't realize until it's late. If he did not do this, if he did, and when I stop, you don't know. I'll say this.
See,
there was a time,
and
it's about Lutzana school.
Sure.
Every now and then. Come back to school to feel that great. It's our phone.
Yeah.
And that's
purpose.
That part their acceptance. Nearly tata phone. But you get to that stage where we'll pass a metric. And then everyone says, "Hey, then you realize that hey, if Bana basantsela matsapa matishera ke salam mo poko place."
Yeah, so what you have just said, we are not strong man. It's purpose. It's called living a life of significance. Yeah,
it was hard. It is heartwarming even for now because of education. They do it. Even your uncle and a friend, which they took the group of science learners to career. To an open day go Pretoria. I don't know which year was that, but
2060.
They did that, and that is what I want. That I like people who do not forget where they come from, and make that little contribution. It will make a difference in somebody else's life.
Now that you're saying it, Nina, I think it's one of the things really your greatest motivation. How to look school to say so when you're trying to bring change into the community, even though Bana school and you want actually a better life for one, because who is about to batho bala ba ko mopong ga o batla go change batho bala go di place mbale ga o batla go change, and wherever you come from there and you know the potential and the first view ya potential ya play ko tlang ko yone Kuwena.
Yes.
Oh, strong man. You are cooking now.
No, I strongly believe Costa, like all other places, is blessed with all kinds of people. It cannot be that just because Renna Mopleki, comparatively speaking, is remote than other places, then we are fools, but they are intelligent. No, that's not the case. I have attended school with guys from Pretoria, with guys from Soweto, guys from Witbank. They were normal guys like us. And it does not mean that if you are from Soweto, then you are more intelligent than other people. No, it's not like that. We should not doubt ourselves. In fact, our play should not feel as small. You know, I played for one of the best teams in this township called Costa Rican Tigers. We will go and beat the team Soweto 5-0. And if people don't believe that, we played Mphe Destroyers 5-0. 5-0.
At the base.
And how many assists for you? Or goals?
No, I was a defender.
Okay.
We went to play Dobsonville. Another team booked us before we started playing. Say, hey, Chance Alfetara, whilst we were busy at this one, they disappeared one by one. So your place does not necessarily mean other people. Fine. Physically and otherwise, the places might be better than us, but mentally, no. It does not mean your potential mentally has got nothing to do with where you were born. It's natural. It's got nothing to do where you were born. Otherwise, we won't be having doctors more costary. We won't be having lawyers. For your information, we've got 2 CAs. We've got 2 chartered accountants. Cindy, is a CA again.
Cindy? I'm sorry, strong man.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
But we've got Tepiso Motse.
Yeah, Tepi.
He's a CA, and he wrote me a message. A WhatsApp or my dream has come true. What you have been saying, and I was happy.
That last of 2009.
No, only part of it.
After one.
Oh, none about 2010.
Strong man in choose to be a pastor.
No, it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
No, leadership, leadership, and that's why I always say I'm living my best life.
Best life, yeah.
I've accepted Redefining.
Yes.
But it does not mean my story is over.
Yeah.
You wake up or tell the right opportunity, and that dream that you wanted, you can still get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask this, what are some of the awards study saying during your tenure as principal?
Regarding management in accordance with departmental standards, the best I got was to win the first stage of the National Teaching Awards for Ketling, and then went to compete at the district. But I did not make it, and the reasons therefore were not very convincing. Even my area manager said to me, "Mana, Lorna, we are surprised you did not make it, but don't lose hope." But I decided not to no longer take part in that kind of competition because I was aware that the results were fixed. So told myself, whether I get these awards or not, now I'm focusing on Mphe. As long as Mphe is doing well, those awards, I entered them once, and it was at the insistence of the then area manager, Dr. Moloko, saying to me, "Mona, you must enter that competition." And well, there are others. In any case, there's no small award. I got a an award from Tsogaripana. I don't know whether it's still existing or not.
It still exists.
Yeah, I got an award for the most influential person in the community from Tsogaripana. And remember this you are chosen by people. Yes, it's not them who said no, you are. It's people who voted for me, because I was competing with one of my products who I respect very much, Regime Lucy.
Yeah,
he's now the executive director of South African National Editors Forum. Association, something like that.
He used to be one of the editors of Citizen.
Ke tla mo tlhola mo di-social.
No, I haven't.
I can mona. Serious, ne ke sa nagana gore o tla tla o itse Tenure. Ne ke sa nagana gore o tla tla, especially ka jeko.
No, I like development Democoste. I was born and brought here. This place is very special for me because it gave me what other places could not give me. It gave me a home. When I say home, I'm referring to this place.
And there can never be one like this one. Linda Coster, it's the place.
You should know this guy.
I would have Sunny Kid. Yeah.
I would say I see him money before.
I won. Come start in Satenda.
Mo Kevin. Mo Kevin.
Yeah. How to go for stadium?
How to go stadium?
Yeah, most start in Satenda.
You don't know this guy. Oh.
Familiar, but so as I think
how about Ruben Musiane games?
I can when no like games are
that games are when I was sick.
I was very strong. So we see Ronaldo.
Come on.
So Tenure, what's one funny or surprising incident from your time as principal?
Surprising.
Yeah, or funny.
Funny. Funny means something that makes you laugh. No, unfortunately, I can't think of any moment that made me laugh.
Okay, now, ka tlhaloganya ge Tenure o tla re tlotlela ntse nako e tsamaya, refresh your mind for. So can you share a time where you had to make a decision that was not popular but necessary?
Yeah, many times. I can recall those that happened in my early years as a principal. I successfully expelled 2 learners. Even today, when I meet those boys, I don't feel proud, but it was necessary for me to expel them. And remember, in terms of the rules of the department, no one can expel a learner except the head of the department. And if we talk of the head of the department, we are talking about the provincial head of the department.
Oh, not HOD
school. Yeah, not the head of the department at school.
Okay.
Yes. The school can only recommend expulsions. And they will need evidence. You don't say, no, I hereby recommend the expulsion of Raditsabeng. You must show paper trail. You must show that, no, I did this with this guy. He did not come on board. I did this. All measures have failed. I don't want this boy again in this school. So I expelled 2. It was, even when I signed the expulsion recommendation, I was not happy.
It's a tough game, that one.
Yeah.
You have to do what's right for school, but at the same time, it doesn't make you happy that you've been pushed to that level.
Yes, and the other one was requesting 2 teachers to resign.
Yo. What happened?
No, they were not doing what they were getting paid for.
Oh.
And it was consistent. So if I could have taken action against them, that action would have been very disadvantageous for them. So the best way to save their careers was to resign. So I requested them to resign.
Strong, man.
When you talk of that one, I kind of get it, because we first begin go head of departments said report to
Yeah.
and then
you must account.
But teacher perform. You can see my teacher perform. Miniro batla the results. The subject advisor did and the results, but you're getting nothing.
And when I must account. So but they are, one of them, the problem was attendance. He was not attending school. He would stay once he get paid, he would absent himself maybe for a week. He would absent himself for a week. The other one could not deliver. When we want work this time, remember, we must submit results at the district office every term. And they've got due dates. And if they want the results of the entire school, one subject, if one subject is not complete, you can't release those results. Let's say they want grade 12 results. The LO teacher has not completed Mphe, or the Setswana teacher, or a teacher for any subject. You can't release those results, because the overall results must include those results of that subject. So you'll find that you are delayed by one subject. And at the office, they don't know that it's one subject. They would say, Mphe Bana has not submitted.
And the principal must account.
Obviously, they can't phone teachers. No, they can't phone teachers. They don't talk to teachers. They talk to you. There were times where we would refuse teachers to go home.
Because
yes, we'd say to the HOD, you are not leaving the school until your teachers have submitted, or until your teacher has submitted. The attitude of some people is very shameful, because when work is demanded from them, they make as if it's not work for which they are paid. And then my understanding is, if work is demanded from you, and for which you run to the ATM every month end, then you must do that job. You must do the job.
Exactly. And I think some of them, they were missing the point. I think the public in general doesn't understand how, despite how you still have to account for
Man, now I used to tell these teachers, and sometimes they felt I would say to them, as a teacher there, your child is in school. You got your results. Marwa from Mphe, because the mother overka ku masimong, overka ku kitchening, overka ku CWP. You think that mother does not need those results. But when that mother can go CWP, can get you out of your job. Abereka ku CWP. That person did legal status as a parent. Hardly believe it's a parent, regardless of where ka ku kae. it used to piss me off to see the attitude of some of the teachers. But these younger ones, they brought in something new.
Okay.
Yeah, for 2-3 years, I was able to release the results of the whole school at December on the expected date. For 2 years, and that made me feel very good. I even gave them, last year I gave them 2 days. We said, no, Menir, we want closing party, and I want results. If you can give me those results on this day, then Kelefalabune for your results. For your closing party, then Friday, don't come.
And they delivered.
They delivered. It was cheer for cheer. These young ones were doing. What they hate is to go and mark at home. They want to enjoy their holidays. So they will make sure that they mark whilst...
Yes,
so that was working positively for the school. It was working positively for the school.
So, Menir, what do you think schools should do differently to prepare students for the world today?
Schools, there is very little that schools can do because schools do not determine the curriculum. That's where the problem starts. But what schools can do is help learners choose the right streams. Like they should do some vocational guidance for learners. Check your learners while they are still in grade 8 and 9, what they want to do, so that when they go into the grade 10, they start specializing now. There's the science stream, there is the commerce stream, there is the history stream. Learners should be advised properly. But at the same time, now as a teacher, I can see that Pito is very good in maths and science. And I tell him, you must go study maths and science. And Pito does not like maths and science because friends are going for the commerce stream. Then Pito lies to the mother and says, Mr. Motlhampe is forcing me to do maths and science. Then the mother comes to school and says, I don't want my child to do maths and science. And that's it.
Without realizing or disadvantage.
Parents do not have the kind of information that we have regarding career choices. And they believe their learners more than they would believe teachers. I have seen such cases. A very good learner in maths and science refusing to take maths and science, and the learner will go home and tell the parents that, no, they are forcing me to do maths and science. And then if the parent does not help me convince the learner, I'm going to lose. Yeah, teachers, they should properly guide learners, but we've got teachers who are very naughty and to the disadvantage of the child. There are teachers who think that they can say to a learner, no, you cannot do this. I don't want you to do this. Because teachers, particularly teachers teaching certain subject, he or she would not want certain learners who are struggling to come and do the stream. So that the stream should consist of only learners who are good, so that it should be seen to be performing. Yeah. I have seen schools with streams that do not make sense. The combination of subjects. No, I can't mention schools, but I've seen schools where the combination of subjects does not make sense. You can't pair history with accounting, for instance.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Or pair history with physical science. The streams are compared, they are very pure and clear.
Yeah.
If you take maths, you must know you are going to take physics, you are going to take life sciences. And now we have added agriculture.
Yeah.
Yes. You see? If you are doing commerce, you are not going to do commerce and geography. No. Our commerce is commerce. It's accounting, business economics, and business studies and economics. Yes.
Yeah.
And an alternative stream to that, we have business studies, economics, and consumer studies. That's another lie.
Because nala bufelo gets what 2019 and it was physical sciences, life sciences, maths, and Afrikaans.
Yes.
So Afrikaans?
No, Afrikaans is not. 12A is no longer doing Afrikaans.
Oh, but
we have put in agricultural sciences. It's done by the history classes.
Oh, strong man when I wait it.
Nikilo Maths and Science is strong man. Yeah. But and Kitalokanya Mania because I used to see them Mphe. How a certain period motutle ba change class or now it's a subject you go tswa ba bang go classeng ba tlo joina for physical science ba tla go classeng engwe ba ba sa itse maths and science.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I suspect is that the department it's results orientated. Schools are doing this just to get results. How will that influence the future or career choices of learners? They don't care. As long as they are not called to account, they are not called to the MEC's office, they are not called to account for these results. You see that these results were meant just to get, the streams were made just to allow the school to get the results.
So, looking back, is there anything that you would do differently?
Now, I would be more strict than I was.
Then if you become more strict,
I would become stricter than I was.
And you think of the days when you get at school, you felt like all strict. Now,
I was stricter than I was before.
Yeah. So, any advice to the current principal?
It's just to leadership here today. It wants you to be one who must be streetwise. Yes.
And you are. What do you mean?
Now I'm down. I mix with everybody.
And you don't really look old.
And if you mix with all the people, you get to know certain things. I'm active in the society. I belong to social organizations. One, I'm a member of URC. I go to church. I serve in the church council. I attend church activities, funerals, prayers, and all those things. You learn whilst you are there. I'm a member of King's Burial Society. In fact, I'm the chairperson of the society. I get time to meet with guys who are not in the teaching field. And I also learn a lot from them. I founded Masakane Burial Society. I'm still a member there. So it gives you an opportunity to mix with people and to learn with people. To learn from other people, because don't take yourself as complete. Education is a lifelong thing. When I started training, we were taught that education starts from cradle to grave. A cradle is this bed for very young children. It has protective things on the side so that children should not fall. Bana. Education starts
the cradle
there.
of humankind.
It starts there, and you must not see yourself as complete. You can learn from everybody.
Yeah.
So, before we go out, can you, or you can't disclose your age? How old are you turning this year now?
No, I'm 60.
You're a strong man. I'm not even halfway there. Strong man.
I'm 60. I can't run away from my age.
Before, I was gonna ask Mphe what advice he has for whatever something in Baloko school. And how can we also have this impact, violence in schools, so that we can have Bana ba yang ko sekolo?
Yeah, before that, let me complete the second part of your question on how do I advise current people. You know, things have changed in South Africa, and some of the changes have an impact on how schools are run. So if you are a leader, you must know policies that governs education. If you deal with children, you must know those policies that are dealing with children. You must know those regulations. You must know, there are policies that will guide you. And there are acts of parliament that will guide you. Like, for instance, in schools, there is the South African Schools Act. So you must know that inside out, because it talks about schools. You must know what the Constitution, many people think that the Constitution of our country has got nothing to do with education. And it has clear specifics regarding education. Clear, very crystal clear specifics. Everybody has got the right to education. Now, if you chase the child out of a classroom, what are you doing?
Violation.
Yeah, you're violating the right to
But
education.
there's also the responsibility.
No. You must have valid reasons why you chase a learner out of the classroom. And you must make sure that the education that the learner loses whilst umukubili, that learner is not disadvantaged. That's how the Constitution impacts education. And then, as a principal, you are working with teachers. There is an act that governs the employment of educators. It talks about leave. It talks about every transfers of educators. You must know those things so that you make correct decisions. You've got people who are admin clerks. You must know what are the provisions of the Public Service Act. There are so many acts that you must know so that when you take action, you know what you are doing. You know, I took all the policies of the school to one woman magistrate, Nasanzernali magistrate. I wanted her legal advice.
Yes.
Disappointment, and I took the policies going. And then she looked at them, and she said, we are not even going to start discussing these things. Because I don't see the Children's Act amongst the documents that we have. And once you deal with children, you must have the Children's Act, because it will tell you what kind of punishment must you mete out to learners. So leaders must be also legal-wise. You must know these things, because you lose cases if you are not legal-wise. And if you take action against the teacher without having followed the correct procedure, the teacher will take you to the union, and the union will follow procedure and reinstate the teacher. And how are your relations going to be with the teacher? When now lose it. So do you think that teacher will respect you? No.
You don't know what you're doing.
And this BELA Act, Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, it changes the framework of education completely. As a leader, you must have that somewhere in your office. Now I used to have a file of all government's gazettes. They will be in the file because you'll need reference. That is why I said I was able to successfully expel a learner because I followed procedure. And it also depends on your senior leaders you have, because my senior leader at the time, Dr. Maloko, rejected my submissions regarding the expulsion twice. But at the same time, advising me what to do. He said, you can't win with this kind of information. Go and redo this. And because I wanted those boys out of the school, I did that, and they were successfully expelled. although I still feel the pain when I see them.
I can tell me because ke selo sa khale gore ke bo santse re wa se bona so ke tlhaloganya re lo ena somehow e go affect.
That is why I never did that again. I tried other means.
Yeah. So how do you want to be remembered now as a principal?
As a person who had the welfare of the education of Bana for Costere at heart.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the kid had until 65.
It's just that there are other things that made me decide to leave.
Okay.
I was not yet ready, but one of the things that made me leave was you can't preach same things every year, and people don't change. And what I hated most was people acting ultra-virus.
This ultra-virus for laymen.
Acting outside the scope of your powers.
Okay.
Knowing that you don't have the right to
we are
do
learning
that,
a lot today.
but you continue to it, knowing it that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Why do you take decisions that you must not take?
Really
Ultra-virus. Just the way you keep it.
How do you spell it?
V-I-R-E-S.
V-I-R-E-S.
Yes.
Ultra-virus.
You are acting outside the scope of your powers. And
We are leading.
if you act within the scope of your powers, it's intra-virus.
Okay. Wow. Ultra, intra.
Yes.
Jesus.
Today when you to do
strong man
teacher. You still have to go back. We know it's the act because
you must learn. Even as a teacher, most important, the teachers must know the Employment of Educators Act, because that's their contract with the department. It's their contract. If you contravene that contract, you're going to lose your job.
Yeah.
But the accent that.
So, Minera, what message would you want your former students to hear today?
Now, I would love them to still feel part of the school and to still make a contribution to the school. I don't know whether I will succeed, but I want to organize a reunion of all former students back on Mphe. And then we decide here we are, what can we do for this school? Don't look at the current behavior of children. What can we do for the school? They sing, "Hi, Baba, Let's look at what we can do." But Bana, they are not wrong. I never had a problem with the current learners. They are not wrong, because a school is a reflection of its own community. If the department expects now we must curb like drugs and other things, we can do that. But Bana has schools, so they are exposed to what we don't want.
Exactly.
And the exposure is so easy that you even find Ndwane's in grade 8 is addicted to Zolo.
That one is a problem.
Our community, Leona, must change to have a positive impact over it. But if we live in a community that glorifies crime, that glorifies criminals, no. We won't make it.
For the last time now, Minera, before we go out now, what's the next step for you now that you have stepped away from your role, Yabu principal?
I've been recruited, like in the Department of Justice, to serve as a lay assessor.
Okay.
I have submitted documents, but they have not responded since February. I've been recruited to serve on the Board of Governors for Spetlele Sarona. I've submitted, they never came back to me. but I'm not bothered. I'm still earning my salary. So, I was not doing it for whatever stipend they would give. I was considering doing it just to keep busy. And I'm contemplating resuming my law studies. I don't know whether I will come up to that because I dropped out.
Oh,
but I don't think that's something I'm still thinking about. Maybe I can go back.
Thuto ga e golelwe ntate.
O e tswalla yalo.
Matswa ma bo fela gompieno ke gore thuto ga e golelwe. Thuto ga e golelwe. Bare once a teacher ceases to be the student, they become irrelevant.
Yes.
So you're never too old to learn.
Lifelong learning.
Langka go la ya nomba lotlhe. Ka re na ke itse go so let's say maybe you had to come up with a theme song. Mphe Bana o santse o le principal e ne tlo nna e.
Yeah, I took a chorus from Sefela sa Luther. I wanted to develop that into the anthem of the school. I have succeeded in pushing it ko kerekeng ya rona. We are singing that chorus more liturgy ya rona because ke bone it's le one part ya liturgy ya rona. We sing that chorus and go skolong. I told them I want this to be the anthem of the school. The chorus is Naya Mudi Motlotlo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ishap, what's Ishap? Ishap le miner le tsana go. Sharp miner ai bo. Santse le onwa ke re bra. Yeah, Buffet 2, it's your boy Oratile Ora. Thank you for joining us, Buffet 2. On Royalty Life Chill Podcast, Buffet 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also share this episode, guys.
This is our principal. Retirement or not, yeah, for
the last time, Buffet 2, shout out to Principal Motlhampe. Tango, Menera, Tango. Before we go out for the very last time now, get question if Menera no filo kareng ke be ke go ibuditse but ke sa ibotsa.
Ke feel gore ka bon boditse. Yeah, maybe how I made it. Maybe how I managed to make it with the poor background like it's ongoing. Yeah, because I was brought up by a single parent who was a domestic worker. Just like many other parents.
Go deeper, Minyar.
No, I can't go in deeper. We have to realize your situation, be patient and work very hard against all odds.
Against all odds.
Yes. Against all odds.
All odds.
Yeah.
Baba. Patience, acceptance.
Hard work.
Never be in competition. Hard work.
See, strong man, after this episode, you can cancel the show now. I'm done. I'm done. After you can go and enjoy your pension in peace, man.
No, sharp. No, thanks, ne?
Thank you, media. Thank you.
Good luck.